today, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we have a phone here, a dead phone. It's not charging. It's not powering on. Just went off as the client said. You can see from the screen display there's nothing at all. It's not displaying anything.
It's not even charging.
Yeah, it's not even charging. So the first thing I'll do is I'll diagnose it first to see what the issue is. So what I need to open it is show you my tools. I need a P2 screwdriver for opening the lower screws, and then this one for opening the inner screws on an iPhone. Just a screw.
So those are the tools necessary.
Yeah, these are the tools necessary. This one will be used to open first the inner side, and this one will be for the inner side, and this one is for the outer side.
Whatever that means.
Okay, so let me start by opening the two screws. You can see there are two screws here on the lower side of an iPhone. This is an iPhone 6. So we'll start by opening it first. Then you make sure you place them separately from the other screws. In this case, I'll place them here.
And then, Brian, a question. Yes. What are these boxes for? These two boxes?
These are the boxes. When a client brings a phone, they are placed inside. The phone is placed inside, and then it gets back to me. This is where I store my tools. So once I'm done, I'll just return the box back, and then it will be taken to the client with that.
So in a nutshell, it's for storage?
Yeah, it's for storage.
Okay,
let's go ahead. So after opening the two screws, you now have to lift up the screen of an iPhone. So for this case, I need a plastic brick to open, and I'll be using this case, plus my finger too. So let me start. So you just use the plastic brick to open it round. And you can see it's coming out the screen. That's preventing it from getting to your battery or whatever. You see what's going on with yours. Right now, better see. So this is not the screen. This is the upper part. This is the display assembly, where the touch and the LCD are, where the home button is, and where the earpiece is. So I now use my star screwdriver to check first on the battery. The first thing you always disconnect the battery. So let's go open it. Boot them separate also. Because returning the right screws to the right place is always a key to not damaging the motherboard and the other components. So once I've opened now the battery place, you can now remove the battery, disconnect the battery either using a plastic, or if you have a finger, you can just use it to plug it up.
Of course, they have a finger.
A long one. So once you have opened it, you can now disconnect. And then the first case is always after disconnecting the battery. If you want to see if the issue is the battery, place your charger. Let's see if there's any display at all. Still we don't have anything, so let's go ahead. You can also disconnect the charging. This is now where the charging is. The charging plate sits, the speaker sits on it, the vibrator sits on it, and then the earpiece also sits on it. So we go now open the screen so that we can be able to separate it all. So we remove the screen.
So we learned that the phone was not powering on.
Yeah, it's not powering on at all. So normally the first case is you check on the battery, of which you are going to try the battery first. The battery is always the source of power, apart from the charger. So okay, these are just for you to know, these are the screen connectors and the earpiece connector, including the front camera. They're all connected at one location. with the screen, everything. They are all in the display assembly. So we are going to try with the battery, and here I have an iPhone 6 original battery. You can see it, iPhone 6 original battery. So what I'm gonna do, just put this at the top of the other battery before even changing anything. Connect it to the motherboard. Then try to power on. Yeah. Successfully we have seen that the issue is the battery. But we haven't seen if it's charging, so let's first see, let's wait to power. Give it a minute. Mainly the main issues with an iPhone when it's not powering on is normally the battery or the charging system, which the charging system had like shown you it's connected to the speaker, vibrator, so it's on. You can see the phone is on. So once the phone is on, let's now try putting our charger in. We see if it will charge. So we can see it's charging. You can see the green logo there, it shows a charging. So let me just put it so you can see it clearly. You can see now it's showing charging.
Charged.
Yeah. So in this case, we are not going to go further to remove the screen or anything. We have seen the issue with this phone is the battery. So then let's now replace the battery. We remove the old one and put the new one in. So the first step, always disconnect the battery before handling anything else. And then in this case, we have to remove our screen, our display, so as to take care of the cables which are very vulnerable. Put aside the display assembly. Now normally for a new iPhone battery, it has some adhesive which you can pull it from here. In this case, it seems the battery has been replaced once by the client. So I'm gonna use my small improvised plastic brick here. Just put it under the battery. Try pushing it in to see if it's for this case it's not. So you can see it is the old battery. Then I'm installing a new battery. Remove it from the paper. And then we're gonna use the adhesive provided by the battery company. So let's now put it in. You can see these are the adhesive. Just place them under your new battery. So that next time you are replacing the battery, you will just pull them out using the black spot. You can see the black spot at the top. Leave it there, remove the other one. So this one, the good thing with this is that when you are replacing again the battery, you will just pull them out. It's very easy to pull them out. It's not like removing with a plastic brick, which can damage the inner cables, which you can see it here. There are some cables under the battery. In this case, these ones are enough. Now, putting out the battery pack, you just have to do that. Make sure it's in position. The adhesive is to help to hold it in still so that it can't shake. So make sure it's in the right spot. Because if it misses its clipping, you might end up shorting the battery again. So you can see it's now in good. Just disconnect it first because we haven't fixed the screen yet. Now let's go to the screen. Putting back the screen. This is now the display cable. Start by clipping that. It's just very simple when clipping it. Let's go to the touch one. That's the touch connector. We go to the front camera and the earpiece connector. Then that is the home button connector. Which of button is generally attached to the screen. And then always remember to put back the metal. So I can use my star screwdriver to put back the some cases where these metals are not put back, you can find the battery swelling. Then you're like, what happened? It's because of these metals. They help in holding the battery and also the connectors for the display. So now connect the battery. Let's just make sure it's powering on. Yeah, it is. So now it's powered on. So I'll just go ahead and close up the battery connector again. So make sure you return the right screws to the right place. This to avoid damages to the motherboard, because if you install a bigger screw it will just spoil the motherboard. So okay, so now the new battery is in place, it's in position, you can see everything is closed. Now we just now have to return back the display to connect it to the chassis, which is pretty simple. You can see all connected. Now we have to close the two screws, the pentelock 2 screws at the bottom of the screen. This is just to hold the screen.
What's the purpose of them?
These are just to hold the screen intact. In case it falls, it doesn't separate with the chassis. So now the phone is ready. You can see, just to make also sure it's charging. Okay, yeah, it's charging now. You can see it's charging properly. Then to just make sure, let's go to the battery health, which you normally find it in settings. Let me just start it over again. You find settings on your phone, go to the battery. You can see your status where it's written battery health. So you can see for the new battery it's 100%. We were not able to see the other one because it could not power on at all even after charge. So we can see it's charging. Disconnect. Now the phone is ready. It's okay, everything is cool. Just make sure I test everything before I give it back to the client. Normally you go to the touch. In case they were using the fingerprint, you can see it's reading the fingerprint. Go to the sound one. You just make sure the speakers are okay. You can hear the produces a sound. Vibration, I can use the button here. Vibration button here. Sense. You can also use the volume button. You can see it reduces, it adds. So, and then now you go to the earpiece. You can just dial any number. You can just, normally people dial 112, but in this case, if you are caught, it's an emergency number. So you can just place in your SIM card. It reads your SIM card, everything. So after testing out the earpiece and the mouthpiece, I think we are good to go. I'll boot back to the case the client came with it. Then put it back on the box, and all will be good to go to the clients.
And the repair is complete.
Yeah.